So the question is
Yes.
email versus social media. Which one do you think is more popular right now?
Depends on how you measure
Well,
popularity.
Email.
And I like to I'll just to put it out there. Let's look at email versus social media worldwide.
Email.
Okay, what do you say?
It depends on how you measure popularity. I would not say my email is very popular because sometimes
Okay.
it ticks me off
Okay.
and there's a bunch of junk in there that I
How
don't want to see and I
many-
can't filter it out like I can.
Which one do you think gets more of a usage?
I
In
probably
terms
check
of-
my
in terms
email.
of time or in terms
You,
of
come on.
in terms of time or in terms
I don't know.
of concentrated attention.
Do you want that in minutes, hours? Like what do
No,
you
the
want?
measurement is not as
Milliseconds.
important. It is the metrics that are important.
don't know.
The actual
How about you just guess?
Put it like this: you
Which one do you
probably check
think-
your email more often than you check social media.
I think most people spend more time in email than they do in social media in the aggregate.
I can go days without checking social media. I don't know if I could do that without email. Your
Yeah.
bills come in there,
and it also
notifications.
Well, yeah, and it also
important
depends
ones.
on whether or not we're talking about whether we do doing this for because we have to, or because, or whether I choose which one of these
It's popular
these
to pay
conventions I
bills.
choose.
And
Okay.
unpopular
I
to
mean,
be broke.
that's a vague question for.
Well, I had to get the question out there.
I get that for an aspiring number
Email.
nerd like myself, that you're supposed to ask these questions before you can
So,
distill numbers into
I think
like
I heard
truthful things.
email.
Then I think I heard email.
Yeah,
That's pretty much what I think I heard.
Derek said email.
Okay.
I said it depends on how you measure it.
Well, the answer is it depends.
Thank you.
I don't know. Well,
Numbers.
according to a private research firm called Ipsos, what's IEP? IPSOS.
Yeah, I see. Nice.
They polled 19,216 adults in 24 different countries last month, and they found that 85% of the people who they polled used the internet for,
Email.
Email.
yeah.
If you're talking about adults, that's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if the adults have like day jobs, and if you're talking about where they choose to go or where they end up going, that's an easy call too.
Yeah, 85%.
Dude, you got a job, you got to check your email.
85%. 62% of those polled said they use it for social networking.
I do not remember the last time I have heard tell of a supervisor telling someone that he supervises, dude, you better check your social media in case I try to get in touch with you. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Not yet.
No.
Dude, you better be checking your
You better-
Twitter feed. You better
yeah.
be checking your Twitter feed because I might be trying to reach you.
You better check it.
Yeah.
You better check it, man.
You have to check your Twitter feed twice a day in case I'm trying to reach you. That's not going to happen. At least not
Not
anytime
yet.
soon.
Not yet. Although I do get that from like Tim. Tim gets on me, or Aaron. They get on me a lot about that. Dude, answer your Twitter. Did you see my
DMs.
Twitter?
I get that. I get that.
Your at mentions.
Did you get it? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing.
See, mine's come to my
until,
email.
Until employers get to that point, then I think email. Until employers get to that same position, I think email is always going to win if you're going to measure it in that way. Sure.
Well, Karen Gottfried, a research manager at Ipsos, said that, and this is the quote, if you think about it, the internet was first used for sending letters online. It shouldn't be surprising then that they were using a digital version of sending a letter. But the fact is that a majority of people are using the internet for social networking is really a paradigm shift because there's no equivalent in the offline world.
That is well stated.
And when you look at across the globe, at least in the 24 countries that they polled, we see that social media is really high in places like Argentina. 76% of the people polled use it. Russia, 75%. South Africa, 73%. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I always have this thing like of Egypt, Africa, Israel as like these dusty towns with a bunch of little, half naked folks or with Jesus shoes on.
Jesus shoes?
Yeah, sandals.
Oh. I thought you
And-
would just say sandals.
Well, I call them Jesus shoes, because he probably wore some. Anyway, I was thinking that these dusty towns, like, why would they have the internet? But then my mom one time went overseas and she said, no. It looks just like here. It just happened to be in the Middle East, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, South Africa, 73%. And in countries like Japan, social media is not used as much. 35% of their people polled only use it. 42% in Saudi Arabia. Another use outside of email and social networking.
A lot of Middle Eastern countries, social media is less private than it is less. Let's say it's more dangerous because the government monitors those things so closely, as opposed to email, which you don't really broadcast your thoughts to the rest of the world, or so the social media paradigm would present it to you. So if you're doing that and your government is really paranoid about the dirt that it's doing to its own people,
Right.
social media presents a level of physical risk.
Sure.
So I could see where a lot of Middle Eastern countries, or at least as they are presented in our news media,
Right.
that might really seem to suppress the use of social media. I get that.
Voice over IP is another service that they use. It looks like voice over IP is used 14% of the people across the globe are using it. In Russia, 36%, Turkey, 32%, India, 25%, and here, right here in the U.S., only 6% of us are even using voice over IP right now.
Really?
Yeah, only 6%. That's crazy. I thought I would have been higher than that.
I would too.
I mean, we're using it right here in our office.
Yeah, the office, our office phone system is voice over IP, and with the Google Voice being essentially free to cut down on your minutes if you have any minute
But that's
limitations.
not really Google Voice, though, is it?
Google Voice is voice over IP. Google Voice is voice over IP.
But if it goes like to your cell phone, it's
Yeah,
not.
well, yeah, you're gonna have to cut your cell phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to cut off your access to your wireless, to your cellular provider, and use just the Wi-Fi connection to use Google Voice. Or of course, you can use Google Voice from your computer if you have an internet connection and your cell phone is not pinged for that.
Good point.
Which is to say, if I'm at home and I want to make a phone call and I've got a restrictive number of minutes on my plan, I'm gonna get on Google Voice if I were frugal.
Right.
And everyone knows I am not, but I'm nowhere close to as frugal as you, of course. But then again, who is?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.